Howdy, Agency Overdrive fans. I'm excited for this lecture, and I'm excited for this whole series of lectures because it's really going to allow you to see inside a campaign that I am working on and building from scratch, which is an exciting thing. The first lecture of the series is when we went over Shopify conversion tracking, and then I created some campaigns, but I want to walk you through my thought process. And today's lecture, I'm really going to focus on how I would approach optimizing and auditing a campaign, sort of from the beginning, and like how things change over time, how I expect things to change over time, the things that I'm working on, the channels that I'm launching, and just really give you a very transparent view into things that are working, the mistakes that are made, and how we're going to make things better. So this is the landing page website that we're sending traffic to, Yellow Turtle Hand Sanitizer. It's obviously a product which is popular right now because businesses are opening up due to the shutdowns across the country from the COVID-19 pandemic. And let me just walk you through the website real quickly. Here's the homepage. We have all different sorts of products. We have 1 gallon, 5 gallon, 55 gallon, 320 gallon products. As you buy more gallons, the price per gallon comes down. They offer it in gel and liquid formation. It's 80% alcohol hand sanitizer, which is stronger than the stuff that you'll typically find on the market. And we worked on the site. The site could use some work, but it's actually a really well-functioning site. It has all the things conventionally expected of an e-commerce store. So let's just say, for example, we were to go into gel hand sanitizer. You have a vertical menu over here. You could filter products by different things. It's just conventional. It's nothing fancy, but it's conventional and it works. If you go into a product, here's a couple of different things that we've added. If you happen to be on Shopify, a few different things that I like. So one is the titles changing with the product variant. So over here it says 1 gallon hand sanitizer jug, alcohol, and if you switch it over here, it'll change it to liquid. And then if you change it to gel, it'll change the title to gel. This is all done through a Shopify app. There are many of them that do that, but I think it's important because people were buying the wrong thing. People who wanted gel were buying liquid and vice versa. There's another app that allows you to add information below the price, whether it's like ship next day or whatever it may be. Different variants. And here's another great app that I found that allows you to create quantity discounts really easily. So over here it says buy 3 for $41.39 and it automatically calculates the price in the app. All you need to do is put in the discount percentage that you want. So I'll say, okay, 3 or more for this product, offer 8% off. And the store and the app figures it out, and 4 or more for 12% off or something like that. So if I change it to, let's say, liquid, which is a different base price, the prices down here will change. It's just another good app. That's basically it in terms of the website. Obviously, make sure you're mobile optimized. Here's a great rewards program called Smile.io. And if you're running a Shopify store, I really recommend that you check out Smile.io for your rewards. Your rewards program allows customers to create a login, to create an account. They can start earning rewards. They earn points that could be redeemed for cash. You could set it up in all different cool ways, configurations, whatever works for you. Okay, so that's the website. But I think most of you are probably more interested in what's going on with advertising. So I've been really watching this stuff closely for the last few weeks, and it's time to make some changes. But I want to walk you through how I would go about auditing an account. So first, I want to make sure I'm looking at things at the campaign level. And I want to look at my columns. So the columns that I like to look at on the campaign level. Let's get rid of all these and we'll start it from scratch. Okay, so under performance, I like to have impressions, clicks, actually that impressions, click, then cost, click-through rate, average CPC. Okay, that's the things that I really care about the most. Conversions, this is important here. So I want to see my conversions, my cost per conversion, my conversion rate, my conversion value divided by cost, which as you know is ROAS. And that's enough for conversions at the high level. Sometimes I'll add competitive metrics like search impression share, but not always, not if I'm doing a quick review at the beginning. And I have a couple custom columns. So I have profit and I have profit ROI. So using a 25% margin, very simple. So conversion value times 0.25 as a custom column gives me my profit my actual profit. And my profit ROI is conversion value times 0.25, which is my profit divided by cost. So that's my actual ROI, right? So those columns are going to really help me see if the client's making money, how they're doing. Now, I want to point something out which is important. So let's take a look at all these columns here. So I have 3 campaigns running. Here are the budgets. It's running at a $2,600 a day budget. We're not pacing on that level of spend daily, but some days it gets close. And 3 campaigns. We have a smart shopping campaign, which was actually launched this morning, which is why it still shows learning. There was another smart shopping campaign there was another smart shopping campaign, excuse me, that was in the account a while ago, which is, as you see here, Yellow Turtle Smart Shopping. The problem over here, I'll get into that in a second, was the feed titles, but we'll talk about that in a minute. It didn't do very well, so I paused it, but it was a mistake to launch it, and it was a mistake that cost me money, and I'll walk you through what that mistake was, but we're not up to that yet. Right now, I want to just look at how I would go about optimizing here. So the reason why I have 2 shopping campaigns running right now is because this one is brand new, is starting to get impressions today, but once it sort of picks up, I'm going to pause the standard shopping campaign. Now let's take a look at conversions. I want to make sure that, let's say it's 30 days up to yesterday. So we hear, 752 conversions. Now the issue here is Google Ads is not going to track every conversion that really is attributed to Google Ads, which is sometimes part of the issue with, really just looking at Google Ads value and so on and so forth. You really want to look at your analytics to get a sense of your total transactions, and you could sort of piece together which transactions are attributed to Google Ads, which ones are not. Over here, there's actually around 900 transactions for this date range that are attributed to Google Ads. So Google's bringing in 752 of them. Okay, so it's not perfect. It's capturing most of them. But as we're seeing in the reporting here, revenue tracking seems to be working, and we're going to cross-reference that in a second, where we have $37,000 spent on clicks in the past 30 days, with $21,000 in profit. Okay, because this is 25% of total conversion value, right? So current conversion value is $85,000. $21,000 will be considered profit, which again is not it's like the client is actually more profitable than that itself, but that's like a good benchmark that we're really trying to aim towards, which gives us around 60% profit ROI. So we want to be doing better. We really want to be getting that up to a 100%, which means break even at the 25% margin, and a 2.25 times ROAS looking at just conversion value. Okay, so these columns, this is my first thing. When I go into audit an account or looking at how performance is doing, I just want to get a sense that things are actually working and things are active. Now, I want to audit my conversion tracking. So I want to just make sure. I'm going to go to conversions, purchase. I want to make sure that it's working. A 1.02 repeat rate. Okay, this stuff seems to be working. I can look at the settings for the conversion. Okay. This all sort of works. I can go into this specific conversion action. I can see web pages to make sure I'm firing conversions on the correct web page. And of course, there's going to be many because Shopify gives a unique thank you page, but it all seems to be working pretty well. Okay, now what about next step in getting a sense of what's working, what's not working? So I initially started with just this search and display campaign, which leverages some smart elements. And I am a firm believer that it's worth testing smart elements to leverage signals that you might not have access to when you're running your Google Ads yourself in a purely manual environment. So for example, there's like certain levers you could push. You could push audiences, you could do device bit adjustments, you could even keyword match types is a lever. It's like certain control and certain freedoms that you're either reserving for yourself or you're restricting from Google. Then there's time of day, right? There's device bit adjustments, like I mentioned. All these different things you could do. These are all signals that you could leverage based on historic data. I didn't have historic data going into this. I have no clue if mobile phones are going to perform better or worse, or tablets. Like, I don't know. But what I want to see is, I want to get as much raw data as possible, and I want to see if Google leverages their signals like credit card data and GPS data and household income data and purchasing behavior and previous browsing behavior and Internet of Things data, right? I want to see if they could leverage and start generating conversions at a profitable rate. So this campaign is a smart campaign, and there's a few different ad groups running. And I started off with really just a standard RSA ad group, which, as you can see here, has the lion's share of the clicks, and then see if we could break things out from there. So this standard RSA, let's go in here. We'll take a look at the keywords. So it's basically all broad match keywords. And the reason why I chose broad match keywords is because Google has definitely gotten a lot better at optimizing for broad match keywords. And I started looking at the search terms report to see, okay, what are the search terms that are coming in over the last 30 days? And I'll sort by impressions, or I'll sort by clicks, or whatever it may be. I might go back a little bit, more than 30 days. Maybe I'll go, let's say, 60 days, which is really going to be all time for us in this case. And I first want to see, like, is there anything like really overt that I should exclude myself? So here's like something like Germ-X has no conversions. Okay, but it only has 7 clicks. Google's going to stop spending money on that. They're going to know on the sell out. They're going to know on their own to stop spending money on Germ-X. And there's no overt reason why I should go and start adding that as a negative keyword. Let's see. We'll show some more. Again, let's see something like Purell, right? We don't sell Purell. People looking for Purell probably not going to be our customers, but there's only 4 clicks. So Purell is obviously a high volume search. So Google tested it a few times, and they're probably going to not test it. But honestly, like, I don't want to knock out Purell as a keyword by adding it as a negative, because I don't have enough information to know that in every single instance somebody searching for Purell will not be a customer. Google might have a better idea that somebody searching for Purell, in a certain case, a certain type of person, maybe they're a school administrator. Just Google has enough information that it's worth bidding whatever the amount is to get that person to the site. So that's why I would leave it in as a keyword. Now, going down by impressions, I don't see anything overtly terrible, but sorting, let's say sort down by clicks, what do I see? Dr. Bright hand sanitizer. No conversion, $72 cost. I wouldn't add this as a negative keyword yet. You sort of want to get a sense that the keywords are not way off. So everything is really referring to hand sanitizers, competitors. Like, again, we're early enough in the campaign where I don't see anything necessarily that makes sense to restrict the maximize conversions or maximize conversions value bidding system that we're using. And again, we'll talk about bidding in a moment. All right, so that's relatively okay. Actually, let me remove. I had a filter over there. Sort by impressions again. Everything seems okay. Sort by clicks again. See what I'm spending. You sort of want to see what you're spending money on. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, and I never do go through the whole thing. You just want to sort of make sure that what you have is okay. Now, if I go back to my search keywords, and I see, you look at the search terms report, you want to make sure that there's nothing egregious happening. Okay, so that's covered. Now let's look at our search keywords. So here are the actual keywords in the account. Okay, there were a bunch of keywords, 78 keywords, all in one ad group because they're all thematically related. And I see antibacterial gel being the third most searched for keyword. Okay, so my thought was to potentially bring this into its own ad group. Why? Well, the conversion rate was 2.9%, which is not necessarily bad. It has 60 sales, but the conversion rate is lower than average. The average is 3.2%, and the CPA of $55 is lower than average of 46. It's higher than the average of 46, and it's a high volume keyword. So my idea is like, okay, well maybe it makes sense to bring this into its own ad group, and then you could use a negative keyword in this ad group to sculpt it into a new ad group. So what I actually did initially, I'll show you. We're going to go back to the campaign. We'll go to our ad groups. So I created an antibacterial gel ad group. And as you can see, it's not really performing that well. Now, there's a couple of reasons why this is. One is we don't have, like, antibacterial gel doesn't really show up on our website right now. So it could be that it's going to be difficult to get a quality score or landing page, component of your quality score high enough to get those lower CPC, lower CPC benefit. But it's also possible that even though the keyword itself was antibacterial gel, the search terms that were triggering it were still hand sanitizer. So if you go back to the actual keyword and we look for, let's say, antibacterial gel, and we select that and we go to search terms, you'll see that we're still dealing with hand sanitizer. It's not as if antibacterial gel is a search term that's triggering it. I created that ad group anyway because I felt that as time goes on, that's a search term which I expect or I anticipate very, very possibly seeing an increase in volume. So I created this ad group. I didn't actually add the negative keyword to sculpt it yet because after checking the search terms report, you see that it's just not the case that people are searching for antibacterial gel. So like what would be the purpose of putting it into its own ad group is for ad copy, of course. You could select, well, there's two reasons. One is ad copy. So I could have antibacterial gel in the actual ad copy, which I do over here in this ad group. FDA approved antibacterial gel hand sanitizer, so on and so forth. And you could also choose the right landing page. But anyway, our landing page now doesn't have antibacterial gel on it. We're not actually getting people searching for antibacterial gel. So it's not something which right now, today, is super impactful, but it's something which might be impactful over time, so I set it up. In terms of the other ad groups I built out, I built out an ad group specifically for the 5-gallon pail. And these were like sort of added from merge words, but remember, if you have quotation marks like this under 5-gallon, Google ignores it. They don't read it. You have to have 5-gallon on. You have to have your quotation marks at the beginning and end of the keyword. Okay, so this is something that I actually didn't even notice until right now. So we're going to go in and just edit this out. And we could even select phrase match over here. Google will do it for us. Same thing here. And same thing here. Okay. Let's make this phrase match. And as you see, like I am going for broad as my overall strategy, which is in the main ad group, in the main RSA ad group, everything's broad, right? Like every single keyword here, all 78 keywords are broad match keywords. But if I'm going to go for a further segmented, broken out ad group, I want to make sure I'm controlling the keywords a little bit more, just to get a sense of like what the data is actually showing me, and if it's working, if it makes more sense, if we're getting those types of conversions. So again, look at the results over here of this 5-gallon pail. We're not bringing in such a high volume of 5-gallon pail conversions. Now, there's a reason for this, though. The reason is most people coming to the site. So if you go into the 5-gallon pail ad group and you click one of the ads, you'll be brought straight to the 5-gallon page. Most people buying from us for the first time are going to test out the product with a 1-gallon jug. The 1-gallon jug is by far the most popular product in the catalog. So most people will test it out and then they'll take it from there. And then, if they want to buy again. So we're not at the stage where we're getting a lot of repeat purchases because it takes some time. But we are getting some bulk orders. We've gotten orders off the site that were $12,000 carts, 5,000. There are some large orders, but the average order volume, the average order size is about $150. But it's funny; those are not typically pails. They're either people going to buy a tote because they're purchasing for a school, or they're small businesses that might eventually need 5 gallons, but they're going to buy 1 gallon to start. So that's potentially a reason why that ad group is not performing so well. So I'm just sort of looking to see what are my opportunities. So if I go back to this, these ad groups in this campaign, I would basically leave things by and large as is. So this surface disinfectant ad group, this is something which is really not performing well. Where we're looking for floor disinfectants in general. We're getting a lot of clicks for surface sanitizer. It's really just not performing well. It has an expensive cost per conversion. But because I'm on maximize conversions, that's okay, because Google's going to start funneling traffic away from this ad group and towards the primary keywords that are more likely to result in conversions. Now, once we're on this topic, maybe we should focus for a second on bidding, because bidding is really important here. Let's go back to my ad group. We have the last 30 days. We have 700 conversions. We certainly have, I think we have whatever it is, 20, 25 conversions, 30 conversions a day. We have enough information, and we have $85,000 of value. We have enough information to switch from maximize conversions to maximize conversion value. Now, the reason why I start with maximize conversions is because it's faster. Google doesn't know. It takes Google longer to figure out the different range of your products, the range of product prices, the different margins, whatever it may be when it comes to value, optimizing for conversion value. So optimizing for just conversions is a faster way to leverage that machine learning, which is why if we go in to the campaign settings, we're going to see that we're on maximize conversions. And maximize conversions I set up with no target cost per action, because in the beginning, I didn't want to limit Google with a target cost per action. There's a certain amount of personality here, there's a certain amount of ideology. Me personally, I like to do things right, get as much data as possible. I don't personally err on the side of caution. Oftentimes we'll have clients that are really are erring on the side of caution. And our clients will be no, well, we'd rather start off with manual, controlling our bids. We want to spend a lower budget. They're a little bit more nervous. They don't, I've had days here where we've lost $3,000 in a day. Spent a lot of money on ads, didn't get as many sales, pivoted, and we spent $40,000. And we're not even that profitable now. We're at about break even in terms of in terms of the arrangement that we have with the client, because all of this spend is going through Adventure Media's billing. But be that as it may, that's how I like to do things. So that's why I personally didn't set a target cost per action. I think that's better. I think it's better to not set a target cost per action if you're launching a new campaign. But now that we have a lot of conversion value data in the account, and the second component is we have a range of products. If you go to the site, you'll see that we go from a 1-gallon jug, which starts at $34.99, to a 320-gallon tote, which goes up to, if you go to gel, $6,000, right? So that's a pretty significant range of products. So somebody will buy, and we've had a bunch of drum orders, people buying a drum for $1,000, right? That's more than 20 times. That's 20 times more expensive than the 1-gallon jug. So we're not a business that needs volume, or we need volume, but we certainly don't prioritize or value volume of conversions over conversion value. Okay? So now that we have enough data in the account, I'm going to switch from conversions to conversion value. And I'm not going to set a target return on ad spend right now. I'm going to let Google optimize to the best of their ability to take my budget and get as many high value conversions and maximize conversion value. So that's what I'm doing here, switching to conversion value. Okay, fantastic. Let's take a look at some of the other campaigns we have running, especially the shopping campaigns, because I know that everyone loves to talk about shopping campaigns, and shopping campaigns are an important component. Unfortunately, we've had a really hard time with our shopping campaigns because Google has not allowed us to put the words hand sanitizer in the product titles. So if you were running shopping before COVID-19, Google let you keep them in the product title. So let's say we go to Google, we do a search. Let's say we do a search for hand sanitizer bulk. You're not going to see any shopping products, but if you go into the shopping tab, you won't see any shopping promotions. You'll see ads. But if you go to the shopping tab itself, over here you will see sponsored promotions. Okay? So you'll see antibacterial hand sanitizers. We have been getting our feed disapproved every time we've tried doing this. Every time we've tried adding hand sanitizer to the title. So the problem that we faced was we were showing ads to people who were looking for just like empty barrels, because our titles just said 5-gallon tote, 1-gallon jug. It didn't actually specify hand sanitizer. That's the problem. If we look at, let's say if we do a search for hand sanitizer. Yeah, Google's not going to show me the ads because they know that I purchased from the site before. That's another reason why they're not going to show me the ads. Maybe if I go, let's see, I wonder if I go into Safari, what will happen? Let's see. No, I'm still not getting shopping ads here. Okay. But either way, we had a problem with the titles, and the first smart shopping campaign that we launched was a disaster. Was expensive. Okay, here we are. So 5-gallon hand sanitizer. And we're actually showing 2 ads here. We show these are both for us. So we were able to get antibacterial liquid into the ads, which was nice. But or antibacterial gel, but we still have not been able to get hand sanitizer. I wonder if we search for antibacterial gel, it'll show up more prominently. So yeah, we're getting, okay, here's 3 of our ads over here. So if you search for specifically 5-gallon antibacterial gel, there's 1, 2, 3 of our ads at the top. Anyway, so that's what's happening with Google Shopping, and the one campaign that I decided not to launch smart shopping after it was a disaster, and we just launched a standard shopping campaign. The standard shopping campaign gives you a lot more flexibility in some of your settings, and we're running on a manual CPC basis. We're actually using all products, and I have some bid modifications, 60 cents, 80 cents, whatever it may be for the products. The 1-gallon gel, which is this item ID, is getting the most amount of traffic over the last 30 days, but it is bringing in conversions. Overall, we have 31 conversions at a $60 cost per conversion, but as you could see, it's a more expensive CPA than search, and that's bad. If you're seeing a more expensive CPA for e-commerce from shopping than you're seeing from search, you got to work on your shopping campaigns. So to me, like, that's the big area for improvement right now, is getting shopping working. So that has to do with working in the feed, updating our product descriptions, trying to get, through Google's policies, doing whatever we can in that sense. I like the overview tab for both shopping campaigns and overall in the account, because over here I have the feed, so I can see that all my products are approved. I could see who I'm competing against, which is nice. I want to see that this is relatively stable. I can see the devices, and again, I could see the sort of overall searches. So what I see here for shopping is like we're showing up for like rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, Purell. Like, these are not good. Like, this is not a really great thing to see in terms of search terms for standard shopping, right? That's why the shopping campaign is not performing that well. Most of this stuff is not related to, I see gallon hand sanitizer. Most of this stuff is just not related to like the stuff we sell, which is not an issue in how we're managing the campaigns. It's much more an issue in the feed itself, right? So that's the biggest thing that happens with shopping. It's the feed itself. So I went in and I launched new smart shopping campaign today, and it's just getting off the ground. And the smart shopping campaign, again, relatively straightforward. It actually has a $25 CPA with one conversion today at a high conversion rate. So this might have some promise, right? It might have some promise. It only spent $25 today. But if you go into it, you'll see that there's much fewer settings. If you go to the overview tab of the smart shopping campaign, well, it's not going to be like that useful because it's only 1 day of data. This is okay. So this is interesting. So we're probably we've been testing different product titles. So we probably got some disapprovals here for the supplemental feed we created. Okay, but again, this is what it is, right? I'm going to take a screenshot of this and send it to our account manager who's working on this. Okay. I want to go back to the overview tab of the entire account for all the campaigns. This is another tab that I look at. The optimization score has actually gotten pretty good. I like to look at their recommendations, especially if I don't have a lot of time to manage an account. I like to see biggest changes in cost. These are new words that appeared in your new words. This is good, right? So it's like new words that appeared in your ad in the last 7 days. It's like, okay, why is this showing up? So this is showing up because it was part of a longer search term. Again, GermX with a model number for original hand sanitizer. Okay, so WhiskCare 375, 3 clicks. I'm just not going to start adding these little things as negative keywords. It's just not like, I don't know, you could. There's nothing, $10 is, anybody searching for something with $10 is really not going to be our market. But again, Google's going to figure this stuff out if you're patient enough, and you should spend time doing other things like launching new campaigns. So the main thing that I would do now is like, okay, so we have the new smart shopping campaign running. What else could I do? So I'm thinking maybe it's worthwhile to launch a discovery campaign. Okay, so I'm going to click new campaign, and I'm going to say my target is sales, and I'm going to do discover. So get more sales with visually rich personalized ads that show across YouTube, Gmail, Discover, and more. So continue. United States, English. Want to focus on conversions. And let's see, do we want to put in a target CPA? Let's leave that out. Let's leave out a target CPA. Let's give it a $200 a day budget to start. We'll run it all day. He'll use account level conversion settings. Exclude moderately to high sensitive content. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. I'm going to see what the audience is. Try to find some cleaning, something like that. We want to find in-market segments for people looking, like ideally we want to find in-market segments, people who are looking for hand sanitizer. So I'm just going to start searching around hand sanitizer. We could also do it to like, well, we could do something to like similar to all converters. That's not a bad idea to start with. In market, tanning and sun care, skin care. Maybe I want, I'm thinking if I should put in skin care. Anti-aging skincare. This is not really what I want. Because skincare products are more going to be creams, lotions, moisturizers, facial cleansers, makeup removers. It's not what I want. Where'd I go here? So let's see. What else might be good? There's hand sanitizer. There might be cleaning. Home inspection. You might want like business owners, but a lot of these people are not necessarily business owners. The people, the buyers, are oftentimes people who just like work. Do-it-yourselfers. See what they have for ideas. Yeah, I don't know. Bath and body products. Based on your past conversion performance. So maybe we'll select that because Google's taking this. You know, they're saying that past conversion performance is based on that. So let's start off with these two. I think that'll be good. We'll allow the audience expansion. Demographics. I think that we'll allow anybody. I mean, I don't think we're really getting any 18 to 24-year-olds buying this stuff, honestly. So maybe we'll take that out. And now we're going to create an ad. So we could create a discovery carousel ad, sure. You know, it's always good to test all this stuff. It's all good. You know what I mean? So final URL. We'll grab it from the site. We'll send people to the homepage. Everything seems right. Double check. You have everything going. Continue to campaign. Okay. Now, if I want to go into, I might edit this and be like, okay, similar plus in market. Just so I know what I'm doing there. I can go in here. I could look at my audiences, who I'm targeting. All right. So I'm seeing similar to all converters. And I could see the individual data. I could exclude audiences. I could go to my settings and I could review the ad and edit the ad. I'm sure I have it. It's under review. All right. So that's like, again, just to recap what we did here was I wanted to go in, make sure everything's working, make sure that I don't have any egregious search term errors. I want to maximize my time. So like I could have spent the last 45 minutes going through and adding a bunch of negative keywords, but there's only so much time that I'm going to be spending on this. and I want to have maximum impact. So I feel like the things that are working. I have this new shopping campaign. I want to launch a new discovery campaign. I do a conversion tracking audit. I make sure that the conversion value is tracking properly. I look for any major changes in the overview tabs. I'm going, and like I sort of organize in my brain the things that I really need to focus on. So I know I need to focus on making a couple changes to the website. That's one thing. I know I need to focus on setting up a remarketing campaign, which we haven't actually spoke about, but that's another thing I want to do. I know I need to focus on getting the smart shopping campaigns working well, which means working in the feed. I know I want to launch more types of campaigns like discovery campaigns, and just start putting more data and getting more things into the system. So that was the lesson here. I think the next lecture, hopefully next week, I'll have more updates for the smart shopping. I'll have more updates for discovery. Potentially we'll have more updates for some dynamic remarketing with Shopify, and we will take it from there. I hope you enjoyed the lecture, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next session. Have a great weekend.